On the morning of October 24th, 79 AD, 20,000 people in Pompeii had plans for the day. Bakers had bread in their ovens. Campaign posters advertised upcoming elections on freshly painted walls. Dogs were tied to their posts. By the following morning, every single one of them was dead, buried under 20 feet of volcanic ash, perfectly preserved in the exact position they died in. And 3 million people live in that same danger zone today. If you're drawn to the stories where history and science collide in the most dramatic ways possible, hit that subscribe button because we're uncovering the events that permanently changed how humans understand the world. Pompeii and Herculaneum were the wealthiest corner of the Roman Empire. Senators kept luxury villas in Herculaneum overlooking the bay. Pompeii buzzed with 20,000 residents, 35 bakeries, and fast food stalls serving warm wine to dock workers at dawn. The mountain above them, Vesuvius, had been silent for 700 years. Its slopes produced some of the region's most prized wine. Nobody knew it was a volcano. 17 years before the eruption, a catastrophic earthquake had nearly destroyed Pompeii entirely. Lead pipes split. The Temple of Jupiter collapsed. Flocks of sheep died from gases rising through ground fissures. But the Romans attributed earthquakes to Neptune's anger, not geology. They rebuilt and moved on, normalizing the tremors that continued for years afterward as routine annoyances. When the ground shook again in October of 79, nobody ran. In the days before the eruption, the warnings were everywhere. Wells dried up suddenly. Water tasted metallic. The air smelled of sulfur. Animals refused to eat and slammed against their pens trying to flee. Birds vanished from the sky above Pompeii. Fishermen pulled up nets full of dead fish. Most people dismissed these signs as bad omens and headed to the temple for a sacrifice. Across the bay in Misenum, one man paid attention. Pliny the Elder, admiral of the Roman fleet and history's most obsessive scientist, had been collecting the strange reports with fascination. When the eruption began, he launched the entire Roman navy into the volcanic storm to rescue survivors, speaking the words that history would preserve. Fortune favors the bold. He died on the beach at Stabii, suffocated by toxic gases, still taking notes. At 1 in the afternoon, the volcano's sealed summit shattered. A column of ash and gas shot into the sky at supersonic speed, rising nearly to the edge of the atmosphere. Young Pliny watched from across the bay and later described it as looking like a Mediterranean pine tree. That description was so precise that volcanologists still use the term Plinian eruption today. For 12 hours, pumice stones rained on Pompeii like burning snow. Families barricaded inside their homes for protection died when roofs collapsed under the accumulated weight. Those who fled in the darkness, with pillows tied to their heads, stood a better chance. Around 1:30 in the morning, the towering column collapsed. Millions of tons of superheated gas and rock formed a pyroclastic surge traveling at hurricane speed. Herculaneum, which had been spared all night by wind direction, was obliterated in seconds. The heat was so extreme that wood didn't burn, it carbonized instantly. Hundreds sheltering in beachfront arches died in a single heartbeat. In Pompeii, the burning cloud hit at dawn. Death came from a single breath of scalding ash-filled air that burned lungs from the inside. Bodies contracted in the heat, pulling arms and legs inward into what scientists now call the pugilistic posture. Volcanic ash covered them where they fell. Over centuries, it hardened around them. When archaeologist Giuseppe Fiorelli in 1863 poured liquid plaster into the hollow molds left by decayed bodies, what emerged was not ancient ruins. It was a mother shielding her child. two people locked in a final embrace. A guard dog twisted on its back, still chained to its post. Today, Vesuvius is still active, still monitored around the clock. 3 million people live in the same danger zone that killed 30,000 Romans in 79 AD. 700,000 of them live in the official red zone, on the exact paths the pyroclastic flows would follow if the volcano woke again. Now here's a question for you. If Vesuvius began showing serious warning signs tomorrow, which decision would you make? Option A. Evacuate immediately at the first official warning, even knowing it might be a false alarm. Option B. Wait for definitive confirmation before leaving, unwilling to abandon your home without certainty. Option C. Leave days before any official warning based purely on the animal behavior and environmental signs the Romans ignored. Drop your answer in the comments because 3 million people near Naples face exactly this question. And history suggests the answer matters enormously.